With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Live now. I believe I should be live. It is the Squared Circle Digest. I am Sean Stanley. Frankie Frezko is going to be joining me here in a little bit. I had a late time getting here, so I got him the link late, and actually he is popping in right now, and I'm going to bring him on board right now. There he is, Frankie Frezko. Thank you, man. I know I got the link over to you way late.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. I can hear you.
Oh man, sorry, bro. Not only that, but
again,
huh?
I'm probably the laptop hooking up again.
No, man. I overslept. I fell asleep for a minute, and I just woke up. I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot I got to do the show."
Oh my goodness, man!
So tired. Sorry about that. Sorry. It's not your fault.
Schedule, man. I mean, that's my fault.
It's not your fault. It's my fault for like trying to go to sleep, trying to take a quick nap before the show. I was like, "Oh crap!" And then at the end, I was like, "Oh man, the show started. I gotta go."
And we want to thank everybody that's watching us on X as well as the YouTube channels. Don't forget, on X, they say you can comment now, and it should come across. So if you want to test it out, throw it in the sections. I want to thank you for either watching us on Stanley Media House YouTube channel or the Frankie Frezko YouTube channel, whichever way your watches are on the X as well. And Frankie, a lot's happened. I was out last Tuesday, and to be transparent, I had a little issue with my chest, but it turned out to be a muscle. So all is well. I knew I wasn't going to see the big man because I knew it wasn't that, but it was definitely a tightness that I'd never felt before. But that's what happens when you start working out again. Oh, it happens. I didn't know I had muscles still.
We got a long time before either one of us hopefully ever have to go visit the big man. So
yeah, definitely. Josh already in, my dad in, appreciate you. And apparently I'm talking for Frankie Frezko again through my my chats. So Sometimes we see Frankie Frezko talking up there. It might be coming from me. So just know that that there. Josh, before we even jump into everything else, let's just talk about this because Josh brought it up already. Good evening, Stanley and Frankie. They are dropping the ball on Jade. I disagree.
Well, tell me why you think?
Because she's not winning the elimination chamber, so she's going to have to get pinned. She's already been eliminated from the thing. So what are you going to start building up the losses on her? Like, I get it. Everybody wants it to be like, oh, this and that. Some things happened, at least from what my understanding and me reading is that they slowed a little bit on the process because they thought that she was further along than she was, but they had to correct some things that is WWE. Not that they were doing wrong, but to correct them the WWE's way. And sometimes that's a hard thing to break, man, because you get so used to doing it one way, and then you got to turn around and do it the WWE way. Again, not a right way or a wrong way, but they have their way that they want everything done. And sometimes that is a big change for somebody to be able to get and understand calling a match in the WWE compared to anywhere else. So to me, they're not dropping the ball because I think if you throw her out there and she looks lost, you lose everything. Because once you put her out there, you can hide her in a Royal Rumble match because she's not going to be doing moves. But when she goes out there and it's one-on-one with somebody, it's got to be legit good, or you have then dropped the ball and ruined what you had with Jade Cargill.
I see what Josh says. Josh says WWE needs to get her more matches so they can get used to it. I agree with that.
But that's why they have the Performance Center. That's why they have the performance. She's working out in front of Regal, Shawn Michaels. And again, a lot of it isn't that she's not ready. She's just not WWE ready to what they want for her to have a full match. Like she could go out there and probably, wrestle some NXT call up and squash somebody. But going there Bianca and wrestle a 20-minute match WWE style, that's different.
Well, then have that for her, because let the crowd see her. You understand me? Whether she's gonna have a minor match here or there, but at least showcase her. Because I agree with you that she doesn't need to be in a match right now for, say, like a big spotlight match. But I still think we need to start seeing her in an actual match. We saw her in Royal Rumble. Let's see what she could do with some of the, up and coming people in NXT.
AEW style. Look at all the women right now on the roster that they're trying to focus the spotlight on. Rhea, right? Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Io Sky. You've got Damage Control. Raquel Rodriguez just came back now for the thing there. I mean, Liv Morgan. I mean, we'll just throw her in to do a squash match. I just look. I get it. I understand. Like, she's been signed for a long time and this and that, but she also signed a long deal to where they could do this with her. They knew, that it wasn't going to be like an overnight thing where they were going to bring her in. It wasn't going to be Cody where you sign him and he's up to the main roster and, for WrestleMania. I think they understood that. And they're doing their due diligence to make sure that when she's there, she's the diamond that she's supposed to be.
I mean, I get you 100% that she wasn't going to be like a Cody Rhodes and automatically be there against the main roster. But I understand where Josh is coming from. Let her wrestle. Like, if you're not going to put her in the Elimination Chamber or put her in a big match in the next live event, then at least showcase her, because you already kind of got the ball rolling at Royal Rumble. You already introduced it to us. So momentum is riding high for now the fans to start seeing her. we haven't seen her, and I think the fans are getting a little bit antsy of just not being able to see her wrestle outside of that Royal Rumble moment. And yeah, she shows up here in SmackDown. Hey, I'm having this conversation with Nick Aldis and stuff like that. But is that all we're gonna get for now? Because she's not technically WWE ready. I mean, come on, like just showcase her already. If you don't feel she can handle the main roster, I don't see why they don't just go and throw her at an NXT and then have her start having some matches in NXT at least. At least somebody can see her. At least we could start noticing it. Because like you said, you already got the ball rolling. If not, why did you even bring her out in Royal Rumble? If you felt she wasn't even ready.
No, that's not that they don't feel it, but also where does she fall in line right now? Where you bring her up for what? And I get it. You just want her to wrestle matches, but that's not the WWE style. Isn't just put somebody out there to wrestle matches. That's AEW. That's that's those other companies that just put a person out there if they're out there squashing somebody, it's to build them up to feed to somebody.
Yeah, but then when is the right moment for her? Are you just gonna have her sit in the bench this whole time until they feel like, hey, now let's bring her? I mean, you have to bring her. There's always gonna be women in the WWE that are gonna be having their own storyline, so you're gonna have to bring her at one point or another. It doesn't matter.
You're doing all of this right into WrestleMania season. That WrestleMania is their reset. So what are you going to do? Set up a 1 month thing just to get Jade into WrestleMania and then start over from scratch? Because that's where they hit the reset button. WrestleMania starts a new.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna have a match at WrestleMania.
Exactly. So why right now? I think what you're going to see is you always see the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania, big surprises, big developments. That's when I think you're going to start seeing more of Jade Cargill.
No, and you know what? Josh is saying something there that is interesting. He says Raquel Rodriguez over Jade. Laugh out loud. That a joke. I mean, I don't think Raquel Rodriguez is better than Jade Cargill.
No, I'm not saying, but I don't think that's what WWE is saying. But what they're also saying is they don't want to put Jade in a spot to where she's not winning Elimination Chamber. So what at some point she's got to get pinned in Elimination Chamber because Becky Lynch is winning Elimination Chamber to go face Rhea Ripley. So then now Jade's going to get pinned after she got eliminated it's just like.
Yeah, I mean,
loss after loss. And Josh, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, if you're building somebody up, you're going to throw them out there at the Royal Rumble because, again, that's a thing where you can get 2 or 3 people or Bianca or whatever, somebody to get her out, and it makes sense. Now you've kind of thrown that little tidbit out in everybody's mind to where, it's Bianca and her. They went to face. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, again, it's the little tidbit that's thrown out there that now everybody's like, oh, I want to see that. Oh, I want to see that because that's what WWE does. And we're going to get into it more when we talk about the other stuff. But Josh, you say at least she gets the experience in the chambers. But the thing is, she's getting the experience because she's training with the NXT wrestlers day in and day out. So it's not the fact that she's not in there she's not on per se the TV, but she's still working every day toward it and everything else. And they do matches down there where you wrestle toward the camera. It's basic wrestling TV matches every practice, every training session.
Look. For me, I have no problem with Jade not being in the Elimination Chamber. I think, like you have said, I think it's too quick for her. That's fine. But I do agree with Josh in the aspect that you do need to actually start showing her out there just the same way you did in Royal Rumble. So if you don't feel comfortable or you don't want to hurt her by losing a match, throw her in NXT. There's make her wrestle at NXT and do a match at NXT, and then all of a sudden see what crowd reaction you get. Because again, you're not losing anything by having her wrestle in NXT, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's where also, and I didn't want this to go this long. It's already gone a long time, but I believe what I said before, where they were going to make NXT another brand, they're not. They're not. So they see it as, okay, if we put her down there, it's a demotion.
But just because you got have her down there
now, because I used to hope that maybe you would put Jade down there and have her do a run like you had with, when Asuka was down as a champion for 200 days, she was the NXT champion. You could do something like that. But if you're not going to make that a brand, and as I see Braun Breaker get brought up, and I see everybody getting brought up from that, that's telling me that WWE once again is really looking at as more as a developmental, which means then you're giving her demotion.
I wouldn't say that, man, because look at tonight's main event at NXT. It's supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken, it's Shotzi going up against.
Shotzi's out for 9. Oh, that's right. This is recorded because they were going over. That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, she got injured in that match. The match doesn't happen.
Right.
That's where she tore her ACL.
So I mean, so at the end of the day, these guys fluctuate between an NXT and either SmackDown or Raw.
That's also the reason you don't put her down in NXT in a way too, is because you never know what freak things happen.
I know, but come on, you can't have that mentality, man.
I'm saying for anything. I'm saying why risk her doing another match just to have a match?
Well, because you want to go ahead and try to start exposing more often, especially if you want her to get into being a big wrestler or a big persona in either SmackDown or Raw,
too, right?
Say that again.
It's the mysterious part of what is Jade Cargill? What is she? Who is she? You don't see her every week. You don't see her every, I mean, and again, I'm not saying, I'm playing devil's advocate on what Josh was saying, because I think they are going to put her up as a more of a monster, or at least a good competitor against Bianca leading up into probably SummerSlam, maybe Survivor Series. I think you'll start seeing more of Jade after WrestleMania. I just think now you throw her out there, and it's what you guys said. It's just, okay, let's put her out there so people can see her. But what is she really gaining by that? What is she gaining that she can't get from NXT?
I think she's gaining experience. She's getting exposure again. People are actually getting to get that Jade Cargill type of wrestler firsthand. You're seeing her again. You're not. I mean, you kind of are leaving.
When they bring her up after WrestleMania, that's what you're going to get, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, why do it now when you're going to have to do the same thing after WrestleMania?
That's the question. Are they going to do it after WrestleMania?
Now you're going to feed her all these people for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
But are they going to do it after WrestleMania? Because look at the pace that they're going with her. They've been going really, really very slow with her. And I know a lot of things happen, especially with her whole mother situation. But
no. But I think it'll be after it. I think once you get to a certain part, once you get past what's the last Survivor Series? Once you get past Survivor Series, there's like a switch to where you're probably not in plans until you get to WrestleMania season, because everything else is done to set up for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I agree with Josh. I think you gotta let him. Oh, where's my snack? Where's my plate, Sean?
It's coming. It's in the microwave. We'll see what happens here.
So yeah, I mean, I get you, man, and again, I mean, that's fine if you're gonna bring her after WrestleMania. I just think it doesn't hurt either by just bringing her and showing her.
I'll tell you this much: I will agree with you guys. If after WrestleMania, maybe not the direct night after WrestleMania or whatever, but if like 2 weeks after WrestleMania, you still don't see Jade Cargill, then I'll start leaning more toward your side.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I don't think Elimination Chamber should have been like the spot for her right away. I still think she has a little bit of a growing pains to get to that. You understand me? So I hope they start, exposing her a little bit. And
the only way you do that and put her in Elimination Chamber is if she's winning the whole damn thing and you're going to make her a monster.
Yeah, I agree because
that's
her name is already big as it is. Yes. Yeah. And because of how they kind of brought her in, she's supposed to be this big like Storm from X-Men, like they're selling her like she's a big thing, so she can't lose an Elimination Chamber as their first match. So I get that.
I also think that was part of the deal with WWE, was to get her out there like that, so that again she knows with WWE her brand is going to go movies, this and that. I think that's what's more the plan for Jade Cargill. Honestly, I don't think the wrestling's going to be the the good part of it. I think the acting and other stuff.
Yeah, but she needs to
Probably
first
be
do
the more
the.
thing, so.
I think if she's thinking that way, I think she needs to actually wrestle first before she actually gets to that level. You first have to show face in WWE and put your end
She
of the
was already in
bargain.
commercials during Super Bowl. She was in commercial ads. So
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you still wanna, you have to put in the work. You put in the work at the.
no, I'm not saying I'm not saying she's taking it easy in the wrestling world, but I think her step up is more. WWE is not, and again, I'm probably putting it in very simple terms, not like that she's thinking this way, but more of, okay, WWE is my step to my next step that I want for the Jade Cargill brand, which she couldn't get in AEW. My belief is that she couldn't get that in AEW. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I always felt that she did. I thought they did a really good job with her in AEW as far as exposing her and giving her much opportunity. My only issue with AEW when she was on there is that they gave her all the kind of like the crappy. Well, not. I don't want to say crappy. That's not a good term. I guess I would say the lower tier women out there. I wish they would have given her.
Statlander injury hindered a
Yeah,
lot because when she got hurt, they had to keep her the champion until Statlander could get back. So that was the whole thing there.
I just wish we would have gotten something more than just her and Chris Statlander. I wish they would have given her Britt Baker. I wish they would have given her Thunder Rosa before she got hurt. Stuff like that, like those type of women wrestlers, the ones like the bigger name, Saraya. I think Saraya would have helped her drastically in AEW, but you know how Tony Khan is.
Yeah, I know. So I think again, it's one of those things too where sometimes people won't work people they don't know, and so and will Saraya be the person that's going to feed to. Again, you don't know what the storylines are, what the different things are, and what they asked them to do. Because at that time, everybody was just getting jobbed by Jade. So, do they want to step into that role there? And don't forget, you can reach out to us here on the chat on Twitter. Make sure you hit a follow, please. Just hit subscribe, a follow. We greatly appreciate it, both of us.
Oh, let me ask you something before we move on. And it's a little bit off the wrestling thing, but you reminded me of it because of the food, the plate of food they just brought you. But today, actually, when I was at lunch, I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I usually don't eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. But if you guys have not, and I want to know, Sean, I don't know if you've heard of it, but they actually have a $20 box. Did you hear about this at KFC? So it's a $20 box. I had no idea. I tried it today. It's huge. It's basically you get 5 pieces of chicken, or 4 pieces of chicken. You get French fries. You get the like a whole side of like kind of like chicken nuggets, but like their version of chicken nuggets.
Okay.
And you get the little biscuits that they also offer, and then in the middle they have 4 different sauces. And it's like kind of like, if the pizza box of I think Pizza Hut used to do it. I think now KFC is doing it. And I ate that. I'm stuffed. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I didn't eat it all. I ate some of it earlier today and then right before I got the show. But just because of the food that you just brought, it reminded me of it. So I don't know if you've tried it, but that's
I've not. Did you get any other sides or just the fries? Did you get any other sides?
It's fries. So they do fries. They do the 4-piece chicken, and then they do the I guess kind of like fried like chicken nuggets, I guess, that they do. But it's really good for $20. It's really good. It's like literally you could eat that for like 2 or 3 people. Like that's how it typically is. So I was able to eat, yeah, I ordered it earlier today, so I ate it for lunch, and then right before, obviously, I couldn't eat all of it, so I ate the rest of it later this afternoon. But it was really good, actually. I'm actually surprised. So I hope if you guys like KFC, try it out, man. It was.
I'll try that. But I always do the bowls. I do the mac bowls, mac and cheese bowls. I love their mac and cheese. If they do it right, sometimes they'll do it wrong, and it's like, oh, it's a letdown.
True.
One time, yeah.
Sorry, I just had to bring it up.
Yeah. Let's discuss what happened on Friday Night SmackDown. You had Hollywood Rock returns with Roman Reigns, Solo, and all of them about Josh's question came up right as I was talking.
Yeah, I read it. I was reading it too.
Yeah, I took my eyes off what I was talking about. I apologize, everybody out there. So Hollywood Rock shows up and he does this whole long diatribe and a lot's been made of it. And again, this is where I say sometimes WWE throws in little nuggets that they expect you to catch or they want you to catch, or they do it just to throw you off even more so that you're going one way and they're going the other. So again, he said, Cody, you will not finish your story. And he's doing this while looking at Roman Reigns and the other bloodline. He said, because you guys are losers, because you're losers and crybabies or something like that, or spoiled. But he's doing this while staring at Roman Reigns. So people took that to mean like, hey, maybe he's saying this to The Rock. Then they all acknowledged, and they all acknowledged with this way. The Rock acknowledged.
Guns up, baby.
Or guns up, however you want to look at it. Maybe he's going to AEW. Maybe that's the big turn.
Guns up. I saw that.
He does the L for losers, you know, and as he's doing the bloodline thing there. And again, that was taken as, oh, that's another shot at, you know, and again, I want to ask you, because I did see what you kind of put in. I think it was the chat yesterday on the Big O show, Frankie, your thoughts on what you think they're doing with Hollywood Rock. Because to me, this might be the best performance he's done since Tooth Fairy.
Well, Tooth Fairy wasn't a good performance. I will go ahead and say this. I like The Rock being a heel. I like that a lot. I really do. I honestly feel though that, and what I wrote on the Big O radio show chat was that for me, I just don't see Roman losing anytime soon. I still think Roman is their bread and butter. They're gonna go with him until the end. So I personally feel that eventually what's going to happen at WrestleMania is that Cody's going to be on the verge of beating Roman, and again somebody gets involved, and this time it won't be the bloodline, it will be Hollywood Rock. He's going to go out there, and the reason I have it predicted that eventually it's going to be Rock versus Cody is because how in God's green earth are you going to have The Rock just completely turn on Roman after he slapped the crap out of Cody? Like, you just can't forget about that slap. There has to be, that is a big part in this whole storyline. So I think eventually what they want to set up is Cody versus The Rock. And I think the purpose they want to do that is because eventually, maybe not this WrestleMania, maybe the next WrestleMania, or maybe another live event like SummerSlam, they're going to go ahead and, or maybe next year's Royal Rumble, you will eventually have Cody make that leap and then finally finish a story, because you're going to now be able to have Cody's resume show, hey, not only did he beat Brock Lesnar, but now he beat The Rock, and now, you know, he's now he could actually win because his level has reached to that epic performance to where everybody holds the tribal chief. You understand me? It has to be somebody. I'll never forget what you said. In order to beat Roman, you have to be able to, like, who is big enough to beat Roman? And you have to get that person to be big enough to beat Roman. And I think Cody is the person who's going to get there. But in order to do that, you got to put him against The Rock before, just to solidify and put his resume and prove to the wrestling world, hey, he's going to be the next one and he's able to pull it off. So I think that's why at the end of the day, I feel The Rock is going to cost Cody, and then eventually it's going to be The Rock versus Cody. And they're going to use a lot that little scene where he slapped the crap out of Cody.
No doubt. Welcome in as well. And Josh, we will get to your Braun Breaker question when we finish this. I think The Rock does cost Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think Cody Rhodes finishes his story, as Rock said in the promo, and he says, mine and Roman's story has just begun. I'm starting to feel, because remember this, that this SmackDown, right? When Cody introduced The Rock and he brought him back, and he said, I talked to a lot of people, and I talked to somebody that knows you very well. always remember this one thing. And again, as you go further away from the story, a lot of this has been brought back to me by just X looking at different things and, people out there putting stuff together. Remember, he leaned into Cody and said something to his ear. Cody smiled, smirked, left, walking up the stage. The camera followed Cody and his reaction up the stage and then went back to where The Rock and Roman just kind of ended up going face to face and it went to black.
Yeah, but I just can't think about The Rock telling Cody, "Hey, I'm gonna turn on Roman. You sit back and just chill, and then, this is gonna happen." Like I don't see that. I think the whole storyline that they probably had set up took a turn when the crowd made The Rock a heel again. That's the problem.
It took a turn, or they just had to adjust a few things?
I think they took a turn. I don't think they adjust, because why would you? So I could use your scenario where he was talking to Cody, and whatever he told Cody that minute. But then how are you going to explain?
Remember, Cody never chose. Cody never chose anybody until the press conference. Remember, Cody never made a decision until he walked out and he said, "This is bullshit. Roman, I choose you."
True. But he also insinuated he was going to step down to let The Rock.
He said, "My story, I'll finish my story at another time. It won't be at WrestleMania. You're going to face The Rock." And then all of a sudden now, it's turned into this whole thing to where, again, Roman throws out the thing at the thing, "You're irrelevant." There was that pause. There was a pause. And then he said, "Just like your father." And then Cody's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's talk about your grandfather and your grandfather. They would be ashamed of what they're seeing out here." And again, this is where, and this is the ride that WWE can take us on when you have Triple H in this. Think about the mind power that's in this showcase right now. You've got Triple H, The Rock, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. They can just sit there and twiddle the lines and just make people dance right now, because they can really take this in a number of ways. Will it happen? I don't know, but it damn sure is in my head now that The Rock will turn on. I believe The Rock's going to weasel his way into being some kind of like special enforcer because he's on the board. So he's going to point himself an enforcer during the match or something like that. And then you're going to see the flip. But the other thing, and this is going against my whole thinking, is that Seth freaking Rollins keeps coming out and saying, "I can be your Shield." If the plan is for The Rock and everything else, but again, another thing that Cody's doing is he hasn't accepted Seth yet. They just look at each other, and maybe I missed it on Raw because I did not watch every bit of Raw. I'm not going to lie to you. But he hasn't accepted Seth over either, as well as to be like my partner. But now they're going to Australia for the Grayson Waller effect. I believe it's Cody and Seth are going to be getting interviewed. So at that point, I guarantee you something happens. They're going to have to do something, either Solo and Jimmy or The Rock and Roman. I don't know, but something will transpire there. And some people were saying even making it a night one tag team match, Seth and Cody versus Roman and Rock. But I mean, again, you've got this guy coming off a knee injury. You don't even know if he can defend his title 100%. You're going to have him work that match, and then the second night work, because they're all saying the second night would be Roman Reigns against Cody, and then you would have Seth against whoever wins the Elimination Chamber there, which I'm
guessing, Drew McIntyre.
Right, Drew, yeah. So it's just one of those things to where they have left so many little things that now I feel like they're just playing with people. Like The Rock, there could be no chance in hell, sorry, using that one, but there could be no chance that The Rock does anything. He's just throwing out little things like, hey, here's how I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And the little bits and pieces, it's just like it's almost like they're throwing out too many breadcrumbs.
They are keeping us guessing with the whole Seth Rollins trying to be on Cody's side. That I agree with you.
That's the part where I'm kind of like, why would they be doing that if they're not building up something else? You know what I'm saying? Like that next chapter of this whole thing. But
yeah, that you do got me thinking, because that's true. They have been like, and now with the whole Grayson Waller, I do feel like, hey, what are they trying to do here? We're get a little bit of more understanding at Elimination Chamber in that interview, but I don't know. I mean, I just don't see. I don't think Cody's gonna. I just keep looking back at that slap. And I just have to look back at that slap, and I know I will never forget that on the big screen in the background, they did have Roman versus The Rock, and then they eventually had Roman versus Cody as well. So I get it. I get that they eventually are gonna have Roman versus The Rock. But at least in my storyline, the way I look at it, the way I think it's gonna happen, I think The Rock goes and helps Roman continue to be the leader.
Did you also notice one other thing about when they put the tree up?
What about it?
The Rock was known as, what was it? The High Chief. The Rock was High Chief. Look at Roman's name. Just says Roman Reigns.
Well, yeah, I'm eventually, but that's why it's like I feel
Tribal Chief doesn't say like, and that's where I kind of like, again, the way I thought it was going was Roman's going to take the back seat, so The Rock kind of takes over the bloodline there. But like, I don't, it just doesn't make sense. If you're going to tell this whole time it's been he's the leader, he's the tribal chief, and now all of a sudden he's going to bow down because The Rock comes in.
Well, he is.
Like I thought on SmackDown, it took a little bit away from Roman because once The Rock came out, it was all Rock talking for everybody.
Yeah, it does look, and I've seen memes on the Twitter world where they say that, The Rock kind of heads everything, and then all of a sudden Roman kind of sits back, and I think that's hurting Roman. I think they need to eventually, show who is really the man, and that's why I'm telling you, I honestly feel eventually you will see Roman versus The Rock, but I don't see it anytime soon. I think you'll probably get it maybe next year or something. I think WWE is so invested with The Rock. I can't believe that, after signing him and doing all this stuff, that he was gonna go more and more into the wrestling world. I thought he was away. I feel The Rock is gonna be more invested now, and The Rock is gonna show himself more into SmackDown and all that stuff. I think there's going to be more storylines with The Rock, and I'm actually
I think
excited.
really this is the squirrel. This is my honest opinion. Rock's only here to be the squirrel, because we're not talking about the other thing.
What's
The Rock will be around as long as that other thing has been forgotten about, and it's close to being forgotten about already.
I think he's going to be there for a lot longer. I think when they signed him, with that plan of keeping him for a while.
You don't give him the Rock name back as part of the deal if you don't expect him to be a big part of. But I don't know that they expected it to be this quickly, is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he was going to be in the plans regardless. I understand he was going to be in the plans.
Yeah,
I feel like, okay, they put him in the plan, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, wait a minute, we didn't get the reaction we thought we were going to get. So now those plans are turning a little bit. Now they're just kind of going with the ups and downs of this whole thing.
And yes, no, that's who Sean is insinuating. I honestly feel that The Rock, he's gonna do more. And I like it. I'm glad you're getting what I think there was 2.3 million people tuning into SmackDown. So
yeah, no, he's gonna bring eyes regardless. Ultimately, I think as it's going up to WrestleMania, if Cody stays on Raw, I would not. I know you saw a little bit of it this week on Raw, but it was only Solo and Jimmy.
Yeah, you saw that.
I think you start seeing the others show up at least closer, maybe like the week before. Whoever's got the week before Raw, the Raw before WrestleMania, I have a feeling you're going to get The Rock or Roman at that show. Probably The Rock, maybe not Roman. I don't know how or where it is. So, but it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be a lot of intrigue. Now, as it gets closer, do they start narrowing down some of the stuff? Because I put in there, will Cody make it to finish his story at WrestleMania? We're watching all this happen this week on Raw. Drew and him having a good match. Solo, Jimmy get involved in the beatdown. Now he's going to the Elimination Chamber. It's going to be an interview. And at some point, something's got to give because, again, it's almost like the Brock Lesnar all over again. But now it's just somebody from the bloodlines coming out to attack him. It's not just Brock Lesnar showing up and beating him down. It's, everybody else. But that's also why I feel like the payoff is going to be him finishing his story this time, because you don't take L's on TV leading up to until the story's going to get paid up.
That's why I don't think it's gonna eventually he's gonna win, because like you say, he just lost to Drew McIntyre. Right?
And you know what the stat was, which I didn't even know? There's only been 2 people to pin Cody Rhodes in WWE. Drew McIntyre now and Roman Reigns. That's it.
That's why I'm telling you, I don't see him finishing his story this WrestleMania. I really don't. I honestly feel he's gonna lose, and I honestly they're gonna keep going with Roman, and then they're gonna figure out a way to put The Rock versus Cody, and then eventually they're gonna find a way to put again Cody versus Roman. Maybe somewhat.
This is what I think. Again, all this is just going in my head as I'm listening to you talk too. So my thing is this: I think The Rock helps Cody finish his story this year. Then Rock and Roman feud leading up, and then right before WrestleMania next year, it's the old Rocky and Apollo Creed. You owe me. I want you at WrestleMania. Rock and Cody at WrestleMania. You owe me for you finishing your story. And then they go at it.
I mean, that's a possibility. I just know that at one point in time, we're going to see The Rock versus Cody. Mark my words. We're going to see that. And then I honestly, my other thing that I guarantee is that Roman's going to win at WrestleMania, and Cody ain't going to finish his story.
You know what?
Not yet.
I for the longest time said that as well. And I still am leaning that way, but now it's like 75-25, because I do see a light there to where they can make it happen and still keep Roman, strong, because having The Rock there changes things. Like, do I think Cody's just going to go into WrestleMania and pin Roman? No. Do I think something can happen and he win it? Yes. But it's gonna be one of those things. But also, one thing is, like, and DJ Mimo in there as well now. Everybody talks about Dusty not finishing the story at WWE, which he wasn't there that long, but he did win the NWA title a couple times. He beat Harley Race and he beat Ric Flair. So he just never got the WWE title. And again, it goes back to the bull rope match with superstar Billy Graham and all that stuff, to where they're kind of, Dusty wasn't, and then when he was there the second time, it was a joke on him. It was really just he was a guy in polka dots, and he made it work. He brought in Sapphire and he made it work, but he was never going to be a champion. You're not coming in as the common man and going for gold. Sorry, it's not happening. So that, again, when they say like he didn't finish the story, that story wasn't that long. It was one of those little, those Cliff Note books that are like 3 pages. I think Dusty wrestled Billy Graham like 3 times, and that was kind of it there.
What do you think about the question that Josh had about Braun Breaker?
You know what? Honestly, I thought he would be the guy. They said he was going to be the guy to fill in for Roman, for Brock Lesnar. That obviously is not happening, because he is going to SmackDown. What that changes, I don't know.
I think the problem with Braun Breaker is I don't think he's in the same level, or he's not the same type of character as Brock Lesnar. I think they're trying to build him up like Brock Lesnar, but he just doesn't have the firepower just yet. I honestly feel that they should keep Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. I actually like what are their names now? The Wolf Pack, I think, is it the Wolf Dogs or Dog
Wolf
Wolf Dogs?
dogs or some dog wolf or wolf dog, something.
Something like that. But I think that's resurrecting Baron Corbin's
Yeah,
freaking wrestling career
yeah,
because he
I like it.
sucked. And now that he's
Well, not
been
that it
back,
sucked. It's just this is the thing with Baron Corbin is like I just think he falls in that category of he's not flashy. He's there. He's
they
there.
they
he's
dropped the ball
there.
with him. They dropped the ball with him with his character a while, and people lost interest in him. Then they brought him to NXT, and he was doing good in NXT. And
Can I
then
tell you where they lost the interest when Vince brought him up to the roster because they brought up as the lone wolf Baron Corbin, and then
yeah, but then they had the rich Corbin, then they had the poor Corbin, and it was just dumb. Now you have them with Braun Breaker, and I think they have great chemistry. It kind of reminds me a little bit, kind of like when MJF and Adam Cole hooked up together, and then it succeeded for them. So it worked for those two, and it worked for Baron Corbin in particular. I think they should bring them up together. I honestly feel they should bring both of them up together. But if they're gonna separate them and just gonna put Braun Breaker to SmackDown, now what? Like, and you get these little tidbits from Paul Heyman saying, "Oh, I like that guy" and stuff like that. So they're kind of insinuating that eventually Paul Heyman's gonna try to like manage him.
but also I think Baron stayed at NXT for a reason. I think there's something more behind the scenes, like because like he wanted to be more involved. I think family wise, and he couldn't do Mondays and like so they put him there for a reason. And also, it helps to have a name. I mean, look, for everything that he's not on Raw and SmackDown, he does at least bring a name recognition to the NXT brand to where when guys are beating him, they're beating a guy that was on the main roster. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure. Yeah,
it's kind of like that purpose there. But I think, again, it's one of those things to where I believe this happened organically. I believe they're like, all right, let's throw them together and see what happens. And they
have good chemistry.
They have good chemistry and they work their asses off, I think, to make it work. To where, like Corbin was doing like, I need you, I want you, and Braun was kind of doing the back office thing for a little while, and then it was like, okay, let's do it. And then they kicked ass, you know what I'm saying? And it became that, and then the entrance at the pay-per-view, I think it just kind of brought everything together.
Yep.
There. And
then eventually them winning the NXT tag team belts.
Yep.
That was really good for them. So I think I think it's good. I hope they keep them both together. I think they need to both stay together in order for Baron in particular to keep that momentum riding on his end. I think if they separate him, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt Baron Corbin. I think Braun Breaker can still do well by himself, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
No Doubt says Rock does a solo and turns on Cody, and Roman continues to reign. That is what I see coming because it isn't what I want to happen. And he also said, I have my doubts that Rock will be around for very long. Something happens at WrestleMania, Rock disappears again. See, I think that's the only thing. Like, he has nothing in the pipeline right now for movies wise. Not saying something won't come up, but there's nothing there. You have the UFL, which I believe Danny Garcia runs the majority of that, with Rock's input, but where he doesn't have to be there. He's just there for the publicity. Like he did the Daytona 500. He stayed after it got rained out on Sunday. He stayed Monday to do it just to get more publicity for the UFL because it's going to be on Fox. So I think he will be around because I believe the TKO, I can't think of the head guy. I want to say Ari. I believe Emmanuel is the head guy, but that name just sounds like I just made it up. So I'm not sure. But I think again, right now, The Rock is their publicity hound. He's their PR right now.
It is.
Whether you hate it or don't like, I mean, again, when you're getting on McAfee and all those things on Super Bowl Radio Row, and he was like Cody Crybabies and all, I was like, okay, all right, this is different. This is changing something in the story, because again, he's not going to sit there. But he did say what was weird was with the McAfee one, he was like, you got Cody's hard base, and then you got the Cody Crybabies. He's like both of them. And you got to figure it was pretty interesting to see where, like at that point, I don't know if they had agreed on what was going to be the route. So Rock played it like, hey, I'll put Cody's fans and then also the crybabies instead of just saying all of his fans are crybabies. Because if you're going to go full heel, you might as well just blow it up, right? And say, hey, all of Cody's fans are crybabies, which is why now I'm not going to get the match. But at that time, you didn't know if he was getting the match because it was, I believe he did the interview the morning of with McAfee, and then the press conference was that evening in Vegas. So it was very interesting. Let's see. DJ Mimo says, what happens if something comes up in Hollywood for Rock? They're going to get him injured and he's out. Again, that's what you got. I mean, those are the breaks, literally. The other thing I thought was interesting that happened on Raw was Jimmy Uso cost Jey Uso a match with boy Gunther.
Yeah. I was pissed at that, man. I wanted Gunther to lose. And I heard that. Is it true that it was scheduled that Jimmy was supposed to win that? Like, I'm reading reports saying that he was technically supposed to win that, but they made a last minute change. Is that true?
I've heard the same thing because but they wanted it to mean something for Jimmy to cost his brother. Again, because if you heard Michael Cole on the thing, he's like, he cost him another title. And I think that's going to be
that's WrestleMania right there. They're going to
because then when Jimmy stood over him, he said, "You're nothing without me. I'm always Big Brother." You know what I'm saying? And then they got the Liberty Bell, the brotherly. This is going to be the brotherly love match in the city of brotherly love, right? That's what this is going to be. And the funny thing too is Rikishi has been very vocal on X lately because they actually put out a thing where it was Roman and the Bloodline now, and then all the old elders. You know, it was. The Samoans, I'm trying to think of Umaga, Yokozuna, all those guys were there too. Rikishi was in the dead back, and he goes, "Oh, put me in the back, will you?" So I almost feel like, again, it's one of those things that where I don't know what's going to happen, but there is a bunch of seeds planted to where you really. You don't know what the hell's going to happen.
They're really going in with this whole, Samoan family history right now.
And also the other thing that I thought was interesting too, and we haven't talked since the press conference, I don't think, because I missed last week, when he said, The Rock come out and he said, there's only one royal family. Remember Cody's thing when it opens up, he says there's more than one royal family.
Yep.
And what's funny is if you watch Cody's special, I believe he said he didn't think Vince would let him use that because he was referencing the McMahon family as the royal family. So it's very interesting now to see where, like, I felt like it was a shot at Vince more than the shot at Cody, but it played into the storyline so damn well as well.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I mean, I might have lost some of you, but to me, it was more of, okay, we've taken over. Because again, the other thing too about this whole thing that's funny is the bloodline is really blood. Like it's not family. It's a blood bond between, the High Chief Peter Maivia and I forgot who the other one was. It was really literally a blood bond. They're not family by like births and all this stuff. It was a blood bond that brought this family together. Like, that's what this all is. The two sides of the tree. It's really literally, brought together by blood. So it's very interesting to see how they're going to play all this out. Because, again, a lot of the Samoan history in the WWE are still legends. Rikishi, a lot have passed away, don't get me wrong, but then you have their sons that are coming up now. You have Jacob Fatu, who refused to sign a contract with anybody right now. So I almost feel like he's at least going to be like a one-off guy to where they bring him in, do something with him, and then he can go sign wherever else, or he signs with WWE. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot because he's not signing anywhere. He's just that free agent. And then you got Zilla Fatu now coming out, which I believe that's Umaga's son, right? Is that the one that and he's training now at Booker, or not training at, but he reconciled with Booker T, so he's going to be working there more now. So now behind the scenes, you can be getting him ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's just so much happening to where, again, nobody may show up. Freaking everybody may show up.
Yeah, I agree. And then to go on what No Doubt said, he said, I've given hope on the downfall of Gunther. They see something I do not. I don't know, man. I honestly feel that Gunther needs to get pushed more than just the IC champion. Like, I think his reign has been great. I told you, Sean, I honestly thought the best person to put the IC belt on was on Jimmy. I thought Jimmy can still keep the belt
Jay,
elevated.
right? Jay.
I'm sorry, Jay. Jay Uso. And I think they dropped the ball. I think they decided to go ahead and put this Jimmy versus Jay for WrestleMania. Why couldn't you just go ahead and give him the belt and then build off of that eventually and even make it even more impactful where you could say, hey, Jay versus Jimmy for the IC belt at WrestleMania. Like, I think that would have even been bigger than just him versus each other just going after it. Because at the end of the day, where is Gunther fit on this? Like, now what is Gunther gonna, where is he?
Well,
Like,
see, Gunther was going to be in the title picture. The problem is, I believe now The Rock joining this has added more elements to this than I believe WWE thought of as it's being rolled out. I think things are happening on the fly more than like they didn't know all this was going to train. I don't believe they thought, okay, let's do this and all of this is going to happen. I believe Gunther was going to be set up to beat Seth Rollins. I believe that was going to be the plan. But then it turned into what it has turned into now, where it's like, okay, Drew's contract is up the day after WrestleMania. Is Drew going to beat Seth if he hasn't signed a contract yet? No, not going to happen.
but to
me, that's going to be a cash in.
But do you see WWE letting Drew walk?
Depending on what he thinks he's worth. I mean, again, it's one of those things to where, like, that's the problem with like WWE and to me in AEW is that WWE goes, yes, there's some people that put asses in the seats, but the rest of you, you're kind of replaceable.
But I mean, I'm not gonna lie though. Drew McIntyre has done a hell of a job as a heel.
Oh,
now.
no, I'm not saying that. He's done a hell of a job.
He's been doing a hell of a job recently. And you can't, and sorry to cut you off, but you cannot let him walk and not have him fight CM Punk when CM Punk comes back, especially after all the.
That's why also I go back to what we talked about with MJF. I believe the contract's already signed. Because you're not talking all this shit about CM Punk if there's not a payoff. WWE's not going to put that on TV.
Only AEW would be the
Why
ones
are you going to talk about all this stuff about CM Punk and it's never going to be a payoff if you're going to let him walk?
Yeah. If it was AEW, I could see that happen. But not WWE. WWE is a little bit smarter than that.
And No Doubt said too also, Punk's injury became huge. But also when I look at it, I'm like, where the hell would Punk fit into this right now?
Well, Punk. When is Punk supposed to come back? Like in 6 months?
No, I think it's a little less than that. Depending again, he tore his tricep, which that's you got to use that to do it. You'll use that a lot when you wrestle, pushing up off the mat and things like that. So I don't know if that's going to cause any issues there, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know, 6 months, maybe 4 months, 4 to 6 months. We'll say that'll put him back right around June, July, August is SummerSlam.
And then that's another thing. All of it, if The Rock sticks around, again, you could also set up The Rock versus CM Punk. That's another possibility eventually for the next WrestleMania. That's why it's like, if The Rock stays, you have so many different routes you could take with him.
Well, yes, we routes you take with him, but I believe that also, though, when you talk about Gunther and some of the other guys, they're being held down now because of this happening. Because now it's like, okay, wait a minute now. It's not going to be. And again, No Doubt said it seemed like Cody winning was a mid-match panic move. I believe he's talking about the Royal Rumble when CM Punk tore his tricep. And still, it's always been said, oh, no, Cody was always going to be the winner. I again, at
I
times
doubt
I
that.
go, yeah, maybe, but if you knew he was going to be the winner, then you knew this was all going to happen, and now you've kind of put the big picture only around about 8 to 10 superstars. Like WrestleMania now is really Bloodline, Cody, and who's going to be helping Cody. That's kind
Yep.
of what you're going to have at WrestleMania. That's kind of what you're leading into,
Yep.
which normally would be like a Survivor Series. You have Team Cody,
Yeah, I think it's
you have
yeah.
Team Bloodline. You're going to have that at WrestleMania now.
Technically, yeah. Especially if he starts
So
to
then
team
you've
up with
lost
Seth.
Luther. You've lost. Yes, McIntyre might take on Seth Rollins, but if Seth Rollins is involved in, that match there, now how does that muddy up Seth's match? Does the Bloodline get involved in that match to cause Seth? So now Seth loses the title and then goes and teams with Cody, and you start because you're going to start getting help with Cody because Cody can't fight everybody by himself if that's the way they go.
Yeah.
That's the other part that I don't know.
And then remember,
Cody walks away with the title. I don't know that that's the case because then, as I say all the time, what's next?
and then Memo has a good point. Senor Money in the Bank gonna take the title from Seth. I don't see that happening either. I think he's taking a backseat as well because of the simple fact that you got all these guys running the show right now.
The only thing is though is if he does, you can almost at least eliminate the title from that angle as well, though.
Could.
But again, that's kind of just if you want to take the whole title out. Because if Seth gets screwed by the Bloodline, then it still goes to the angle a little bit, But if Senor Money in the Bank comes in, and even if Drew is about to win, maybe Drew hits the Claymore, but he cashes in, pins Seth or whatever you want to do, kind of like what Seth did to win the title with Brock and Roman. He came in after Brock kind of speared, or no, what did he do? He did, I think he did the F5 on Roman, and then he got knocked out of the ring, and then Roman fell down. He came running down, hit the curb stomp on him, 1, 2, 3. He won the title, and he wasn't even in the match. So that could be something too, where they fight, and then that way you kind of eliminate the title at least out of that picture. So now not both your titles are in the same angle as well.
Yep.
They're a unified title, so it's universal unified title, whatever the hell they're calling it now. He's only got one belt now, but he carries the ball. I don't know. Ball carries it, right? Ball carries one. He carries one.
No. It's only one now.
Right?
It's only one now. It used to be two, but it got unified to just one.
Yeah, it's unified to one.
Yep. Are we doing our elimination chamber picks? Because it's this.
Yeah, we do. I did not write that down. I totally forgot about it. So you want to run through them real quick, and then I want to jump. I got one more thing I want to cover on the AEW side. Could only take a couple of minutes. We should be done here in the next probably 20 minutes with everything. So please appreciate everybody joining us. Make sure you subscribe to the channels, Stanley Media House, and then also Frankie Frezko, and then follow us on our social medias. Go ahead. You have the matches up, by the way? I don't even know.
Yeah. So let's go with. I don't have them in no particular order. So I'll start with this one. We'll say I think this will be the first match of the night. Undisputed Tag Team Championships is on the line. The Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor against boring British strong style Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I have the Judgment Day winning this one. What about you? And before you answer, sorry to cut you off. I do not like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate going for the tag.
Yeah, no, I don't like them as a thing. My question would be, does R-Truth and DX get involved?
Oh, R-Truth is so good.
Like that's the X factor in this whole thing. Like, does he come out and cost him the match? That would be the one thing that I'd be interested to see. But I'm gonna go Judgment Day as well. Yeah.
Okay. I think after that, we'll probably see the Women's World Championship match, which it's up for grabs. Rhea Ripley defending against Nia Jax. I'll go first. I think Rhea Ripley beats Nia Jax. There's no way you're not gonna have Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania as the title holder. So I have Rhea Ripley winning.
Let me put it this way: if this is the second match of the night and Nia Jax wins, I will not watch the rest of the pay-per-view. And I'm waiting at 5 a.m. to watch the pay-per-view.
You're actually waking up to go watch it live? I don't know. It's hard for me because I mean, I like the fact that I'm going to be able to watch it.
You do at night. I mean, usually
so let's people in the chat, let us know, what are you guys gonna do? Are you guys gonna catch the replay, or are you guys gonna wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Remember, this is all the way in Australia, and plus that's another reason Rhea Ripley cannot lose in Australia, so there is no way she's losing that match against Nia Jax, that's for sure. And that one I don't see it, but I don't know. I'm gonna try to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch it, but I highly doubt that I'll probably watch it.
That might be the main event.
It would make sense now that we're thinking about it, because that is you can't
reward her. If there's nothing else on that card, like the men's elimination chamber, you kind of feel like you know who's going to win that. The women's, you kind of feel you know who's going to win that.
That's true. That should be the main event.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this, right? Because we covered the women's championship, right? We covered the undisputed tag team championship. What do you think is going to happen with the Grayson Waller effect? Because that's part of the show as well. So what do you think it happens there? I'll let you answer first, and I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen.
It's Seth and Cody, right?
Correct.
I mean, I think it turns into a cluster with the Bloodline somehow getting involved. I don't know who for the Bloodline. I mean, again, I've always said I thought this could be the pay-per-view Rock versus Roman, just because it's your first PLE outside of the United States. So I think you'll want to have Roman there. And so maybe this is the first face-to-face with the four of them. And I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to expect from it. I just know there's going to be some kind of cluster going on during it.
Okay, this came up to me. I thought about this earlier today. I think this is the perfect time for Damian Priest to cash his money in the bank and win the belt. I think this is the perfect time for him to go in there and do it.
How do you set this up, though? Let me hear your setup of how he just doesn't come out and be like, Seth, I challenge you.
No, you go. He has the Judgment Days back. I mean, they're riding high because they won the tag team belts. I mean, they defended their belts. So he's gonna have the Judgment Day. They'll knock off Cody and start beating up on Seth. And then he'll immediately be, I'm cashing my briefcase right now. And then it'll be a quick match. Remember, you don't want to injure Seth because Seth is already semi-injured.
Is he clear yet? That's the only thing that might throw.
They haven't said anything about his clearance.
Before he wasn't cleared to compete. So if he's not cleared to compete, you can't cash in the Money in the Bank.
Have you heard anything saying that he is?
I haven't heard anything saying either way. So
if I haven't heard anything, let it happen.
The interesting thing is, what if the Bloodline attack Cody and Seth, leave them laying, and then Damian just comes out and picks up the scraps there. That way, again, because the way you're saying now, Seth has to feud almost with the Judgment Day. So now you're pulling another group into the thing. If they beat him down, Damian does the cash in. Now it stays with the Judgment. I don't know, Judgment Day, the Bloodline, as far as why Seth has lost the title.
Yeah, no, I believe me. I think that's the way.
You know what's going to happen? We're thinking this way. You know what's going to happen? It's going to be an interview, and they're going to leave.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of like the Tony Khan, like the Tony Khan announcement. Hey, we remember 2 weeks ago we were like, what is his announcement? And then he tells us, oh, it's just they're going to be in Boston.
They're going to Boston, and look at the poster real good because you'll see that it says Boston.
Yeah, we were overthinking it. But I think for me, if I was WWE and I was creative writing, I would go ahead, and they haven't said anything about Seth not being cleared. So screw it, just do it. Just have him like you said, bring in the Judgment Day to take out Cody. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but
and then you bring Damian Priest. It's a quick match. It doesn't matter. It allows Seth to he'll still be involved in WrestleMania because he's gonna be on Cody's side. So now you could actually kind of do the whole.
Now here's my question to you. Let's do the men's elimination chamber match right now. Give me the contestants.
All right, hold on. Let me go to the screen. All right, so the elimination chamber contestants are. Go to the guys. All right, so we got Drew McIntyre, which He's had feud with Damian Priest, right? You have Mr. Logan Paul. You have Randy Orton. You have Bobby Lashley. You have Kevin Owens. And of course, you got L.A. Knight. Yeah. Those are
Okay,
your
so
guys.
there's a couple guys you can kind of formulate. If Damian Priest was to do that, there's a couple guys in the match. Because I think if Damian Priest wins, I don't think Drew wins. That's the thing that changes it. Because I don't think
You could still put Damian
Yeah, but I
versus Drew
don't Drew versus Damian I don't know,
at
man.
WrestleMania. You could still get that involved. I think that's not bad.
There'd have to be. I mean,
and there's some backstory behind it.
Yeah, but the only way I see that happening is if like it was Drew versus Seth at the pay-per-view, and then he did the cash in there. I'm just talking about like the way I'm looking at it. I look at it a little bit differently.
Well, now that we're bringing this up, who do you think who's going to win the Elimination Chamber between those guys? Because I mean, the favorite
Logan Paul and KO are going to take each other out because I think you're going to
I agree.
rematch.
That makes sense.
That at WrestleMania. Lashley is kind of the X factor. I'm not sure where he figures into all this.
And LA Knight too.
Yeah. I mean, those two guys. So maybe it'll be Lashley and LA Knight taking each other out and McIntyre winning it. Or
you got Randy.
Versa there, and then Randy throws. I forgot about Orton.
Randy's there too, so that
he's gonna be at Mania. I mean,
and remember, Randy also has issues with the blood. I mean, with the
Judgment Day, right?
With the Judgment Day, yes. So you could actually give it to Randy. You could
do that, and then Randy wins it, and then Drew could still be mad. Like Randy could beat Drew out of nowhere, and then maybe throw a three-way in there. Drew, Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
No Doubt is asking, what does the winner of the Elimination Chamber get from that? That would they get a title shot, don't they?
Get the title shot against Seth or whoever the champ, Seth Rollins. Now, the winner plays versus that, and then the other Elimination Chamber, the winner versus Rhea Ripley.
Correct.
The women's.
So if we have to pick, and this is with my theory that Damian Priest is able to cash in the Money in the Bank, I say it's either going to be Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton. And I personally, you can't have not Randy Orton you can't have Randy Orton not wrestle in WrestleMania. I think I
have 4 weeks to build up something. So maybe Damian Priest shows up with the briefcase, not with the title, gets Orton's attention. Claymore, Orton loses. But then somehow they can work it into the next 4 weeks to where they can set it up to be a triple threat.
Do you like that? Would you like that for day one of WrestleMania, a triple threat match between Drew, Damian, and Randy Orton? I think that's fire. I think that's a great match.
Good match. It'd be a great match, I think. And then
is it a main event? Is it like the main event for day one? You think that holds up? Or is it two for you is not enough?
I think you got Rhea Becky as night one.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think you got Rhea. You know what the other weird thing is too, is they always say, if you win the Royal Rumble, you main event WrestleMania. Doesn't always happen that way. Bailey's not going to main event WrestleMania.
No, and that sucks because Bailey.
Because to me now, what should happen is one is the main event on night one and one is the main event on night two. Listen, if you're going to book it that way, then damn it, give them their due. Because Bailey, to me, deserves a chance on the main to do that title at the main event. But at the same time, when you look at Rhea deserves it too.
Yeah, but the problem is if you got Io as the champion, is Io strong enough to hold a main event? And that's where
I say that's the question, because Becky and Rhea are. If you put those two together, which I just gave away my choice for the winner of the women's, by the way. Without even knowing, I don't care who's in it. Becky's I believe, gonna win it. But I think the name recognition there puts up. But then again, Seth doesn't lose the title. I think that headlines night one of WrestleMania. Seth versus whoever he's fighting, which would be the same thing as what we're talking about now. That match, the heavyweight title would main event night one.
I think so. For the men's elimination, I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say that Drew McIntyre is gonna win it. I still think that he wins, and I still think eventually they will have like a three-way. I think Randy Orton makes his way into the main event of WrestleMania Day 1. Number 2, the women's, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I really, really, really am a big fan of Tiffany. Man, I like Tiffany Stratton, man. I really like her. I
You
don't
know
think
what?
she's
I'm
gonna
telling you now,
win.
she moonsaults from the top of one of those things.
Oh man,
She literally moonsaults from the top
I
of that.
am,
Now, whether
and
she gets it or not, she's gonna execute the moonsault from one of those
for
pods.
me, I'm gonna confess to you guys, bro. I think Tiffany Stratton is hot as hell. I love Tiffany Stratton. That's one of the reasons why I started tuning into NXT as well. I think she's great. I think she has the charisma. I think she's good.
You know who you got to fight for her, right?
I like her, bro.
You know who you got to fight to win her?
Who do I have to fight to win her?
Ludwig Kaiser.
He's going out with her?
Yeah, buddy.
Wow. What a weird couple. All right. Well, he's not too hard to beat. Um but I will say obviously I like Tiffany.
You know what
I
though too? I want to throw one thing in here real quick. The
Yeah.
X Factor could be Liv Morgan.
I saw that. I saw that. And you know who I really also would have loved to have seen? I know it's too soon. She just came back, but I really am happy for Naomi. I'm a big Naomi fan.
Yeah.
I really like her. I really hope that she would win it too. But for me, it's just too hard for Becky not to win this and not make it
That's kind of the
Becky
story they've
versus
been
Rhea.
telling, right? It's like that. Like if I feel like if they don't, it's like, what the hell are you guys doing? You've had Becky confront her. You've had Rhea confront her. Kind of pretty much set this whole thing up, and it's like,
Yeah, and I just don't see Bianca Belair. I mean, those three are the top three is Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Becky Lynch. One of those three girls is going to be the ones that are eventually going to win. Those are the only three that I personally think have a chance of winning because I don't think Tiffany's too new right now. Naomi just came in, and Raquel Rodriguez just came from an injury. So I don't see any of those three girls headlining WrestleMania. So it has to be
and
one of those other three.
again, Bianca, I would say normally yes, but she's main evented the last two.
Correct. And
So
she has that show
and the
with
show, the only reason that might help her, the case for her, because she has the show. But I just feel like everything is pointing toward. And the only way Becky loses if they do one of those angles to where, like, she goes down, like what they did with Happy Corbin. If she loses at Elimination Chamber, she's got to fall to the bottom of the barrel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, but she's already done that multiple times too.
I know,
Where
but I
she's
mean,
had
but
to
I'm,
go
what I'm
down and
saying
come
though
back
is
up.
like with the way they put this together, if she does not win this match, it's almost like she's got to be living on the side, like I don't deserve Seth, the baby. You're right, Rhea. You know, like she almost has to agree to everything that Rhea said about her. You know, and I mean, you've done the promo where it's her training with her daughter at the thing. I mean,
Yeah, I saw
you've
that.
just done everything and like, oh, I have to win the title. I need it back. And now you're gonna really like, okay, then you set up for this to be she's gonna drop all the way to the bottom and have to come back.
Yeah, it's too hard for me. You know me, guys. I'm a big fan of Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch is hot. My two favorites on that match is Becky and obviously Tiffany. Now that I've confessed my true love for Tiffany, but I just don't see Becky losing. So I got Becky winning that one.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So
The only X factor would be Liv if because of the Liv Rhea history, but again, that can be done at any pay-per-view.
and Memo says that
This pay-per-view is the, you know, your Super Bowl. So it's I just feel like Liv's not going to get that opportunity.
Yeah, Memo says that heard that she doesn't like bald guys, Frankie.
And
You know what? I mean, I could make her change that. She could change. I promise you, I can make her all of a sudden change and start falling for the bald guys. There's nothing wrong with the bald guys if you know how to rock a bald head, and I know how to rock a bald head. So does Sean, right? Sean, you can rock a bald head, man.
I went back to hair, man.
Oh my god.
Actually, I've been lazy, man. I'll see. I keep up the bald head. My God.
Oh, no doubt. I was says, oh, so I thought you're saying I got a chance.
Yes, you got a chance.
There you go.
You got a chance, no doubt. What else is left on that's pretty much pay-per-view, right? That's
Yeah, that's it, man.
Those
It's a short.
matches and those, right?
Yeah, but it's very short. Short and sweet, man. And those elimination chambers take up a lot of time. That's why.
Yeah, because there's 5 matches and each one is like 2 minutes before the next one comes out.
Should be
The
a
only
good.
difference is you don't have to wait to like that one year. Shayna Baszler beat everybody as they came out. She tapped them out every time, and the match was over in
That's funny.
like 20 minutes. Like, not even 20 minutes. I think it was like 15 minutes. The match was over.
I
As soon as
remember
they came out, she boom tapped them, boom tapped them, boom tapped them. All right.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited. I'll see if I could probably wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. I have to set
You know
my
what? Me
alarm.
and you were going live. We're going live, 5 a.m. I'm just
Jesus.
kidding.
Imagine we do go live. Oh, you know what? We could do the after show because I actually have an event that night, but I don't. What the pay-per-view will probably end by
Friday
what?
night
Like
or
8?
Saturday night?
Saturday. Is it 5 a.m. Friday night or no? It's
5 a.m. Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, right?
Yeah, Saturday morning, 5 a.m.
So it will probably end around 8 o'clock, right? I'm assuming 8, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Probably about 9. I'd say about 4 hours, maybe.
Yeah,
Oh no, it's WWE. 3 hours. Yeah.
we could probably do a show afterwards if you wanted to at 8 o'clock in the
We'll
morning.
record one and we'll put it out afterwards.
No problem. No problem.
Record it just in case. We'll go live. We'll go live there. All right. So the last thing I wanted to cover.
Do we have to cover it?
Yeah, we do.
Right now, it's so disappointing of how AEW has fallen so low. Like
They lost to Micro Wrestling.
I sent you that. You saw that?
Yeah,
I sent you that. I was so, and you know what's
They were
funny?
here. They were in Fort Lauderdale last night.
Yes.
They were at America's Backyard Revolution.
It's so funny. One of my friends, shout out to my friend Rich, he was out there and I sent him a message. I'm like, Rich, why didn't you tell me? But it was on Saturday or Sunday. I think it was on
Monday. It was Monday night. It was last night.
Oh my God. He was out there because I didn't know about my friend Rich. He's now doing like food trucks. So one of the food trucks that was out there, he was like sponsoring it. And I saw, and bro, deed up there, it was slam.
500 people. 500.
Slam. I was like, oh man,
Sold
I wish
out
I
for
would
them.
have.
It was sold out. Pretty much a standing room only.
Yes, I saw that.
The one area where there were empty chairs, they put those chairs there because there was a bar behind there, and the people stood at the bar instead of sitting in those chairs. Because there's pictures, and again, we're going to do the AEW WWE thing, like, oh, look at all the empty chairs. No, they were standing at the bar because they had the opportunity to do whichever one.
Wow, I saw that. I was like, when I saw my friend was out there, I was like, damn it, why didn't you tell me it was gonna happen? Because you know me, I play soccer on Mondays, so I was like, man, I would have canceled soccer for micro wrestling. That would have been cool.
Yeah, but no, here's my question on the AEW part, okay? March 3rd, I think, is the Boston show. Is that the day?
Sir. Yes, Revolution, sir.
All right. So you've got, again, Will Ospreay's already signed, but he's finishing up his tour on the Indies, New Japan.
Oh, and TK is showing some love out there at those indie shows.
He showed up to him there. Oh, here's the other thing I got a question for you on. How the hell do you have an NBA All-Star game on TNT and they got the WWE Championship and not the TNT title?
Wow, what a shot. What a shot.
How the hell does that happen?
You know, it is what it is, man. I mean, I don't know, man. That's a slap in the face. That's a slap in the face.
You're on TNT and TBS simulcasting, and you got WWE titles.
I mean, money talks. They must have done something because I forgot to mention on Monday night. Didn't you see Michael Chandler was in Monday night too?
Michael Chandler called out Conor McGregor on Raw.
What is it? Like I was watching this and I hear this guy yelling.
It's like the new age of TKO and WWE.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on here? Like we're talking UFC on Monday Night Raw. I was like, damn. But yeah, I guess money talks. They must have gone ahead and did you see the belt that they gave this guy the for winning the 3-point contest against the girl? Oh man, this guy
Steph?
Steph. You saw the belt. I was cool. They gave him a championship belt for winning
Nice.
for winning the 3-point contest. So that was kind of cool that they gave him a belt. Like that again, guys. It's so crazy, but there's so many like in the closet of wrestling fans. Like everybody loves wrestling, but they just don't like to come out
like
and
when
say
they
it.
go when they're like, we're here home of whatever, the Las Vegas Raiders. and the Raiders are all in the front row. You know, it's like 3 or 4 of them. But the funny thing is, when they leave there, they go back to the back and they sit there in the VIPs and then watch the show. Like it's amazing how many people are really fans. And it was cool to hear. You know, like I know we talked about it on your show. What? Let me talk now. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you.
Yes.
Let me talk to you. I almost messed up on that. I was trying to think of the LA Knights saying. I couldn't remember.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
I haven't heard him say it in a while. But so we were talking about George Kittle is asked a wrestling question.
I'm telling you, man.
And
much.
And it's like, all right, cool. You know, it's like it's always been there. It's just not been as, you know, as what is now. But let me get back to my question. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to derail me here. We got
no doubt called it. He said, Frankie, I feel sad for you. I noticed no more mic swaps. You're right. Yeah, I had to get rid of it. I still have my CM Punk though. Look at him. He's still here. Yeah, I just can't put him. He's gonna fall off. So that's why I can't. But he's still next to me. Still showing. Go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
Hilarious. All right. So we have Will Ospreay signed. He'll be showing up soon. You have supposedly at this show, Mercedes Moné and Okada are showing up. Do you believe? Like, I just don't know. I don't know that there's going to be like this. I'm going to tune in because I want to see how this rolls out. But like, I'm very interested to see how they work this out for Mercedes Moné and Okada and Ospreay. And also, I'm kind of in the back of my mind going, how bad is this going to freaking snowball out of control?
Yeah, and I read online that apparently Mercedes Moné, the amount of money that she was asking for was the actual same amount of money that some of the WWE women's talent is getting paid. So it wasn't like she was asking for way more than what they're already paying their main roster girls. So I'm surprised that WWE went ahead and said, hey, look, we don't want you. Like that's pretty much what I got from WWE by not signing her. And I think, and she actually,
when you say that, I apologize. When you say that, though, in the same breath, when you think about it, though, look at all the talent they have right now.
They do. That's why I don't need her.
Where does Mercedes Moné go in that? Like, where do you bring her in at? The only thing that would have made sense was if you turned the whole Damage Control against Bayley and brought her in to be a partner with Bayley. But then you're still bringing her in and that's why I think WWE wasn't going to pay her top dollar. And like, you're going to come in as a side piece in a way. You're not even going to come in as, you know, you're coming in to help somebody in a way. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel, and WWE is very cutthroat compared to what Tony Khan is. Tony Khan is just got money and he's going to spend it. My question too is just like, where does she fit in? Yes, she's going to have some great matches because there's great talent there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here going to say, hey, the reason I watch wrestling is to be entertained. I know AEW can put on a hell of a wrestling show, but nothing makes me want to come back to watch the next week, especially since there's no more MJF and the Devil and everything else. They dropped the ball on that because they had no idea what to do with it after it. Oh, wait, there's going to be no more MJF. What the hell do we do? Like, it's like.
I think Mercedes Moné works, but you have to bring back Britt Baker. And I read a report that Britt is already almost 100% ready to come back because she was getting, you know, some rest because of some injuries she's had. So I think that's the way you have to bring in Mercedes Moné. You put her up against immediately the biggest talent in your roster, and I think it's Britt Baker. And then you're not going to put her up against the champion because right now Julia Hart, I believe she's still the TBS champion, but she's injured as well. And then I don't know who has the other belt for the women. I don't who's the champion for the women? I forgot.
Toni Storm.
Oh, Toni Storm. You can't put Toni Storm right now against Moné because Toni Storm is going up against this girl. What's her name? The girl that they just signed. Crap. You know who I'm talking about? The girl. What is her name? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Toni Storm. What is her name? Guys, do you remember who I'm talking about? Toni Storm.
They just brought her in.
Yeah, that girl, I forgot her name. Jesus Christ. Anyways, you guys know who I'm talking about. I think she's the one who's going to be fighting her eventually at Revolution. Um, but I think the best thing that they could go ahead and do is
Gianna Purrazzo.
Perazo. There you go. Thank you, Perazo. I think the best thing that they need to do is just bring Mercedes versus Britt Baker. I think you start her off with a bang and you bring it like that. Now, Okada, is he officially?
No, he's not. It's just it's rumored, and she put out something that kind of like she was bringing somebody, and everybody thinks it's Okada. So I don't know.
The Okada thing, I guess the only thing you could technically kind of do with Okada is put him up against maybe the Don Callis Takeshka, because I know that there's beef between those two, but I don't know if the fans are
At
going to
least
be
you can make a
invested on it.
story out of that. Like even with the Monet one, like I mean, you can have a great match, and I think it'll be a great match. I just don't think there's any stories there for her.
Yeah, it's rough.
Soraya would be the only kind of one that would be and Willow. Willow could be something that
Yeah,
could, but again, that's
it's
not a
too
name.
soon.
You don't want to put that name, but also it's like you're saying, you want to bring her in with a big pop.
Yeah,
Willow doesn't get. I mean, Willow's there. She gets a good recognition for what she is, but not a pop for Mercedes Monet's first opponent.
I agree. I agree 100%. And I honestly feel that one you could bring Willow eventually down the road, and you have a story because of the whole injury and the fight that they had in New Japan. So that you could eventually build on later down the road. But to get a bang, you go against Britt Baker. You bring Britt Baker back, and the two top girls over there in AEW would be that. And I think you'll get a good response from the fans. As far as Will Ospreay, you know, I don't know where they're going with Will Ospreay. I mean,
Where they're going with a lot of these guys, bro. Like,
who is gonna be like?
the
I
only
don't
thing they
know
can
what.
do is put him with Kyle Fletcher because they do the. He's part of the United Empire.
Yeah, but
Osprey and those
man,
guys. I forgot what Kyle Fletcher and his tag team partner, their names. The tag team name
the
was
Aussie Open guys.
yeah, the Aussie Open. They were the United something.
Yeah, but man, if your big signing was Will Ospreay, right? Tony Khan sold it like this was a Super Bowl for them, and like who's out there, because you have Hangman and Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland as your main guys fighting for that belt. So where the hell does Will Ospreay fit in this? Like, is he gonna?
That's the same thing with like Okada. Okada at least got, like you said, Takeshka. There's a story there. Maybe you mix them into, but I feel like they bring all these guys in. And again, I watched Will Ospreay have a match with Oku, and I sent it. I think I shared it with you and on the with the chat. I look at there and I go, okay, Omega,
He's hurt.
the Young Bucks. I look and go, okay, who can have that style of match with Will Ospreay on the AEW roster?
I mean, it would be very cool to kind of put him against Edge.
You don't need to have that match on TV. I believe there was a lot going on in that match, but they were doing it because it was going to be his last match over there.
Yeah.
For that group, so they just put it all out there. They did like a 30-minute match. I get you're not going to be able to do all that stuff, but when I looked at some of the things they were doing, I was going like, who the hell are they going to have him feud with?
Well, I like if they, once they bring him, I mean, I would love to see him eventually go up against Edge or Adam Copeland.
I believe yes, but then he's also going to have to turn down his moveset as well, though.
Yeah, he could hurt Adam Copeland. He could hurt Adam Copeland, bro. And that
Adam Copeland do some of the stuff that, because again, most of the time Adam Copeland would be the base for him doing those moves. But again, it's one of those things that where if you're not used to doing that style, you're used to doing the WWE style. And I don't care what you say. Edge against Christian was a WWE match on AEW TV.
Yeah.
There was nothing there that was like, okay, we're gonna, no high risk, no crazy stuff. It was a very, there. So again, I think awesome matches that you could have with Ospreay and Edge, on
Dynamite
and things like that. Yeah, I mean, big announcement next week on Dynamite. Adam Copeland takes on Will Ospreay. Then he takes on Okada next, and he's retiring the following Dynamite.
I think that's the problem with AEW. They give too much, and I don't know if you wanted to talk about this, but I did want to bring up the whole rampage. I don't know if you guys saw that Sammy Guevara injured um
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy
It
when
doesn't
he.
help when a knee comes across your face.
So I don't know if you wanted to talk about this, but I kind of wanted to bring it
Yep.
up, and I don't know if you guys saw, that match was going. It was a great match on Rampage. It was really good. If you guys missed it, it sucks, but it was a very good match. But then you got these acrobatic moves, and Eric Bischoff actually came out and he was saying that maybe AEW is hurting their wrestling talent by making them take these high risk wrestling moves where they could get hurt and you could really hurt somebody, especially somebody who's a main star. Like I think Jeff Hardy was doing after he complained and bitched and said, "Hey, they're not using me right." I thought they were doing a pretty decent job pushing him little by little. And now,
Start
you
using them the way they should to produce to up your younger talent.
yeah,
That's what he should be there to do.
yeah, and that I thought that was a really good fight. He had a really good fight with Moxley, and he had a good fight with Sammy Guevara. But then now you're doing these acrobatic moves, and right before that flip happened, Sammy Guevara climbed the ladder, and Jeff Hardy was on the table, and this guy did a freaking like moonsault off the ladder and landed on Jeff Hardy, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like I get it, people love it, people are gonna scream holy, you know what? But isn't it too much?
Well,
Like
especially like you're
it's a little
doing it
bit,
on a rampage.
yeah,
That 300,000 people watching it, and I don't know how many were in the audience. I mean, I saw somewhere, and again, no disrespect to AW. I'm not look, and they're wrestling in some area. They were having an issue getting 1,200 tickets, and it was in an area where I don't know that I would take a wrestling company and try to. It was like some small area, but it's like why? And then your guys go out there and you let them do that.
yeah.
I well,
That
I get it that you're that, and that's why, like, and honestly, I think this is what Cody saw. Cody's like, this is turning into a indie wrestling show on steroids.
yeah, pretty much.
That's all it is. It's an indie show with money.
Yeah.
That's what every Wednesday. Tune into whatever. That's what it's turned into, and that's why my worry with look, Mercedes going to come and get the check.
Oh, she is.
I almost wonder what her matches are going to look like.
But she did the New Japan. That's why I think she could fit in and she could handle probably whatever they decide to do with her.
But here's my thing though. She's got the money. She signed a guaranteed contract, bro.
Yeah.
Fire me? Well, then give me my money.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't have to go out there and do. Yes, when you're in New Japan and you're making the $15,000 appearance, $20,000 appearance, or whatever. But your ultimate prize is I'm going to go back to WWE and make $3 million a year, or I'm going to go to AEW and make $3 million a year, or whatever it is they're making there. That's your ultimate goal, because then I don't have to do this stuff anymore.
Yeah, man. It's a little bit.
And you sit there every week and you watch these guys, and it's like, why? On free TV.
Yeah, man. I mean, I get, like, for example,
now, was that the main event? Again, I didn't watch AEW.
No, it wasn't the main event for Rampage.
You should be building your show up. Instead, they're trying to. My match is going to be the best match on the card. Oh,
that was the first match of Rampage.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. By the time it's like what I forgot who it was. Back in the day, they're like when people started like dropping like Macho Man elbows and things off the top rope. Then people started doing the 450s, and everybody's like, well, what the hell are we going to do next? We're going to bring in a floating scaffold so somebody can go 35 feet in the air and do something? Because people then started jumping off the cages, and then it was like, well, dude, how do you follow that? If I'm the guy next to go on, how the hell do I follow that?
Yeah, man. Their main event on that Rampage was a 12-man match. It was the Guns. How do you call them?
Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
The Bang Bang Scissor.
Come on, man.
Today I'm slacking. 2 weeks ago it was you, but now the one that The Rock was holding up there.
Guns
bro.
up or rock signal? Which one you want?
So they were fighting, and guess who they were fighting? I believe they were fighting the Dark Order.
All 12 of the Dark Order. They brought everybody back. Everybody they fired, they brought back for this match.
They were fighting some of the guys from the Dark Order, and I said, "Man, like seriously, that's your main event, dude? That Jeff Hardy versus Sammy Guevara should have been your main event. Like, come on, man! It was like a no DQ. They were going everywhere. They were flying everywhere. It was fun, but like you said, it was very dangerous. And again, they're known for these high risk type of moves. I mean, look at when Dante Martin, when he got hurt and he broke his freaking, and I think his ankle was
a preview for a pay-per-view, wasn't it? Or the first match of a pay-per-view? This was.
I don't know. I mean, I think they went all out with Rampage because they didn't have Collision this weekend because of the NBA All-Star.
Yeah, what the hell?
They didn't have Collision because of the NBA All-Star, and then TNT did them dirty by taking out the WWE belt out there, bro. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here, man. I'm telling you, man. AEW, man. That's
fantastic, bro.
Just a different type of show, brother.
And then Tony Khan had Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy at Fulham's game.
He did it. Yeah, they did.
They looked very excited to be there.
Yeah, I saw that. They were out there.
Good character, and they show them on the screen. They're sitting there like.
And I bet you nobody knew who the hell they were. Did they get like a fan base or anything? Did they get a crowd yell or anything like that?
You bring people. You got to bring the people. Like, why isn't your champion there? And that's the other thing I got to
wait. Orange Cassidy is the champion. What are you talking about?
But I'm talking about Samoa Joe.
No.
That's too since he's won the title. Like it's
Sean, that makes too much sense. No, sir, you bringing Orange Cassidy,
but don't bring the two. Orange Cassidy's in character, just sitting there like,
yeah.
And then Darby Allin's in face paint. Like,
they didn't even bring Sting with him. They should have at least brought Sting with Darby Allin. At least that would have made more sense.
Oh, Sting's like, I ain't doing this shit no more, buddy.
No that's probably why he's retiring. He's like, I'm done with this, bro. These people want me to do some crazy stuff. I'm done with this. And then did you hear about the whole Kevin Nash can't even come out there? But that's because of WWE. WWE is not allowing him to go to the show.
They're paying him a Legends deal.
Yeah, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, it would have been nice. I think WWE should have at least allowed whoever Sting wants to bring out there to show him love since this is his last match. But
buddy, I'll tell you one thing about WWE, bro. They ain't getting money from it or something from it.
Sure,
baby. That's why it's business.
But you know what? I thought
I would have told him, you want Kevin Nash? Then at one of our house shows, we get MJF.
Ooh, yeah, nah, that ain't gonna happen.
No, that's the stupid shit you make to where then AEW has to be like, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought once Vince has left, that maybe Triple H and the whole WWE
not between AEW and WWE. No, not true. After everything has been said between like Jericho and all that stuff that they've been talking now. I think that's kind of. Could there have been a chance? Maybe yes, but now, no.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much what's happening in the AEW world, man. I mean, it's not too much to talk about. Hopefully, we get some reaction from Revolution, but we'll see.
I'm sure we'll have a special announcement coming up soon. All right, Frankie Frezko, tell them about the Let Me Talk to You Now podcast and where they can reach you.
Yeah, so as you guys might not know or might know, me and my brother have the Let Me Talk to You podcast every Wednesday, 8:00. Tomorrow we'll be live. We're going to talk about everything about sports. We'll talk about the Dolphins. We'll talk about the Miami Heat. We have some good conversations about the Miami Heat coming up, actually. And then obviously we sometimes bring guests on board. If anybody wants to be a guest, you're more than welcome to go ahead and send me a message. You can find me at Frezko Music or Frankie Frezko, either or on all social media platforms. And if you guys are interested, like I said, in being a guest, just either you could send me or my brother a message and we'll be more than happy to have you on board. And you don't have to be for the whole show. You just want to be a particular segment. We usually cover NXT at the very beginning. And then after that, we typically jump into Dolphins talk, Heat talk, some soccer. big news coming out right now. If you guys who are soccer fans, Copa America tickets are going on for sale next week. So just be on the lookout. Sean, I might miss a show in June because I am gonna try to make my way over to Houston, Texas, to go see Colombia go against Paraguay. So that's
Oh,
hopefully
you're
the
gonna
goal.
be in the crowd doing the show on your phone.
Well, it's on Monday, so I'm gonna be probably flying back on Tuesday. So that's why I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do it from. Maybe I could do. Maybe I could do it like Cam.
Have somebody holding your hand, the phone for you, so you can talk.
I could do it like Cam.
Yeah.
I've seen Cam on the Big O show when he does it on. He's been on the plane and he's done
And he's done it from the plane.
Yeah, too. Yeah, maybe I'll do it for the plane. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it for that show, but yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I make it all the way to Houston because that'll be pretty cool. I want to see them.
That would be awesome. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome, man. And for myself, I'm at Sean_Stanley11 on all social media platforms. You can check me out at Stanley Media House on YouTube. Hit the subscribe if you want to get notified. Hit the notifications as well. I talk racing, NASCAR racing. I talk have Daytona going up tomorrow. As a matter of fact, the weekend results and things happening, that'll be up tomorrow. Also, now going to start doing some sports takes as well. Lighthearted sports takes. I'm not as hard as Frankie. Frankie just kill everybody.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait, hold on.
Chris there, fire them.
Hold on a second, guys. If you guys did not see the last show 2 weeks ago, I had Mr. Sean Stanley come into the show and just start ripping one on me when it came to Dolphins. So don't say that you're not, cutthroat like me. You came in there guns blazing. So and it was
Yes,
a
I
good
actually
show.
do have a couple takes. I have a couple.
It was a good show though.
So, no, it was always fun. Always fun talking to you guys. And always fun talking to all you guys. No doubt. Appreciate you. Nemo, as always. And Dad, appreciate you. Chad, always. Who else? We got Josh, of course. And, of course, Mr. Frankie Frezko there. And everybody watching us on X. We appreciate everything that you do to support us. And, again, make sure hit that subscribe button, follow button, like button, whatever it is. Help support us.
Please.
So we can get out there to more and more wrestling fans and try to make it a big, I want to say family, but it's more like a community because we're not all going to agree. So it won't be, you have your bloodline.
Guns up, baby.
And your Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
Yeah.
All in the same group. You never know what happened. But, Frankie Frezko, you good? You got anything else you want to say?
We're good, my friend.
So, in the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the sun, shine, stay.